to it. So what I wanted to do was just kind of to give you guys an opportunity. Typically we'll have, every once in a while, we'll do a broker, kind of broker update, kind of broker questionnaire type thing. So wanted to just kind of give you open forum from both the broker standpoint and our standpoint, to just ask questions if you guys are coming across anything, if there's things that you would like to see, and really just let this next little while just really be for you guys. And I guess the easiest way to kind of do this, just so everybody's not not talking over everybody, is maybe to just type your question in the chat box, and then we can kind of address it. And then if you want to pipe in and add more into it, you can definitely do that. So I guess what we can do is just go ahead. We've got a couple people still logging in, so go ahead and just kind of open it up if you guys have any questions that you would like, either from Pat's standpoint, from the broker standpoint, or myself to be able to answer for you guys. And we can kind of just go from there. And then when we get ready to wrap it up, we'll talk about if we have any changes. I know I did see where Western Upstate is kind of going to or I don't necessarily know if it's a new platform, new MLS, or if it's just it's not a new MLS, but they're updating how you log in. So now you're going to have to reset your password for everything. And when you log in, it's going to have everything into one area, so you're not having to log into multiple places. But who wants to start it out? Who's got a question or a topic or really anything that you guys kind of want to talk about? You can either just unmute yourself if you want to, or if you want to type it in the chat box. Either way. Anybody have anything?
Somebody has to have something.
Why don't I unmute everybody so that if you do have something, then you can just talk.
Hello?
Nobody. Hey, Jehan, how are you?
Doing good. Okay. Problem is, if I mute my side, I won't hear you, so I don't know what's going on.
Okay. All right.
So I'll have to be quiet, I guess.
Okay.
Or you can mute me from your side.
Gotcha. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Do you have any questions?
I haven't heard anything, so far, so I'm behind. I do have a couple of questions. Yes.
Okay.
Go ahead and start with your questions.
Basically, I showed a house that has an abandoned swimming pool. Before I go for writing a contract on it or something like that, or offer on it, would it appraise? And if it does appraise, would it be approved by the lender to give a loan on it? It's an as-is, and it's really in a bad shape. And then if that's the case, will insurance be another nightmare?
Okay, so it depends upon what kind of loan your client is getting. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be a little more of a problem if it's an FHA, USDA, or VA than it would be conventional. Mm-hmm. The appraisal could be done, if the lender agrees to it, the appraisal could be done as an as-is appraisal, or a subject to appraisal, subject to the pool being brought back into operable condition. As far as the insurance, that's going to be, Dustin, that's a question you could answer better than me.
Yeah, so Jehan, is it literally just like an in-ground pool that is just sitting there? There's no water in it. It's just not functioning, or what does that look like?
No, the lining is falling down, and it looks like in a bad shape. It needs to be stripped out altogether and relined, and I don't know if there are any cracks in it, but it needs a lot of work.
So is there intention to fix it up, or is there intention to fill it in?
Well, basically either. So if they're fine with either way.
Okay.
But,
You know, from an insurance standpoint, you may run into, I guess, an inspection, but that's something that can be remedied, you know, either by filling it in or you know, fixing it. So, you know, I would say as long as the appraiser is aware of it, kind of like what Pat was saying. I mean, as long as it's being done as is, I think you should be okay with that.
okay. So insurance will not be a problem if we're not going to use it.
If you're not going to use it, then I mean, obviously so insurance always looks at it from a liability standpoint. So they may look at it as, you know, a hazard or a liability. So they may give you a certain amount of time to get that fixed. So I mean, that is something that, you know, you may run into.
Okay, got you. Thank you. Can you try muting me?
Sure. Yeah.
You try mute me and see if I. Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else have anything they're running into? What are you guys seeing in the market right now? Kind of, you know, I guess from a activity standpoint, what are you guys seeing? Ashley said scared people. Yeah, some of them are. You know, and that's one thing. It really comes down to the educational part. You know, some people are going to be kind of hesitant. You know, Pat, I don't know if you want to kind of talk about the few people that you've been helping up in Fort Mill. You know, friends and family up there that obviously you know, they're probably more hesitant than people that are here.
So, you know, there's so much uncertainty right now. Nobody really kind of knows which end is up or where we're going. But, you know, we have to keep plugging along. We got to take it one day at a time, and each day that we wake up and we start to work, we have to adapt to that particular day. And those are the things we have to kind of share with our clients as well. There is an enormous amount of people from the New York area, especially like the Long Island, New York area, moving to South Carolina. They are coming blindly. They've only heard that it's a great place to live. It's a great state. They don't know anything about the areas. So they have been reaching out a lot on Facebook. And I have been reaching out on a lot of sites. There are all kinds of sites: Escaping New York, Escaping Long Island, Escaping New Jersey, South Carolina Tribe. There's all these Facebook pages where these people are going, and they're begging for help. They're begging for information. So that is a great way to generate some business and to really help a lot of people. I have my family from New York relocating one at a time to the Fort Mill area. So I have been going up there to help them, to help some of their friends that are moving from New York. And yeah, they're scared. They don't want to make mistakes. So this is a great time to tell them what the Greenville and surrounding areas are like, what, what are the benefits here, what are the schools like, what surrounds South Carolina, like all the little mountain towns in Georgia and in Tennessee and in North Carolina. They are absolutely amazed at all the things to do around this area. They were not aware that we had 3 lakes here. So, some of them, they didn't really want to be on the coast because they've gone through hurricanes. They are in love with the area because they still have the opportunity to get to water, to get to some of the lakes. So Facebook right now is a great resource. And I got to tell you, some of these people that I have worked with, they could all be my best friends. They are the nicest people, the nicest families, and they want so much more for their family than what they're getting in New York. They all think, New York is crazy, and they want to get out. So, that's where our educating and helping these people comes into play.
Okay. Wynn said, she's starting to see things slow down, in the last couple of weeks. And then Jehan really kind of, she similar question she asked, are we kind of still in that lagging market? Do we still look at Atlanta and Charlotte as some of the leading cities, and how far are we behind them? I would definitely say that we're still in a very much an uncertain time and time frame. But it is, we do still have people moving here. We still are, seeing people buy homes, and one of the things I was reading earlier today I thought was pretty good was a comment that said innovate and invest. So you really need to invest in your market and what you have going on and the people that you have in your database, and innovate in how you do things. Change up ways that you're trying to get buyers, change up ways that you're trying to get sellers. And one of the things that we kind of talked about the other day, and this would be something that would be, that you've had experience with, I guess, is back when the market crashed last time, maybe talking about, how you innovated and went to, from just doing a buyers and sellers to doing short sales and to doing, different things to make sure that your market sustained.
Those people that have fears right now, I don't want to sell my house. I don't know what's going to happen, or is this the best time to sell my house? Is this the best time to buy a house? What we do know is that right now, the market is still stable. We cannot predict what's going to happen 6 months from now or a year from now. So if anybody has the need or the desire to make a move, encourage them and educate them that we don't know what it's going to be like. So if you want to do something, you feel like you need to do something, now is the time to do it, because we just don't know. And something Dustin was saying, and Wynn was saying about, it slowing down a little bit. This is not the market because of uncertainty, that if you sit back and you wait for people to come to you, that you're going to prosper and grow your business, and you're going to be really, really busy. This is the market where you've got to get out of your chair and think outside the box and find the people, like these people from New York that are moving here. Go out, and California is another area. Go online, go into Facebook and find these groups. Join these groups. Be a member of these groups. I'm going to show you something, and you're going to think that I'm lying, but this is the honest to goodness truth. I don't know if you can see this. see this page of people? These are the people from New York that I have talked to, emailed, or texted with over the weekend. Over the weekend, there's more than 20 people on here that, because I went on and posted about South Carolina, they reached out to me. I have to go through, I can't keep up with these people. Now, these are people that are looking in the Fort Mill area. I can't keep up with these people. I mean, I'm literally losing my mind, and I'm referring a lot of these people out. You know, if you don't mind working in the Fort Mill area, we have MLS up there. It is about about an hour and a half drive from Greenville. It's a really cool area. A lot of new construction. So in that area, the on-site agents really do most of the work for you. So, get into Facebook, search out and find these sites, and I promise you, there is work out there.
Anybody else have anything?
I have a suggestion. Can y'all hear me?
We can.
Okay. This is Allie Penley, by the way. I'm
Hi,
on
Allie.
my phone, so I can't really see who all is on the Zoom meeting because I was in my car, so I'm not actually watching. But
You're good.
something that I think would be really helpful to a lot of agents is if we started maybe a Google Doc or something, something where everybody can contribute, and maybe, Dustin or Pat, one of you guys can go in and edit things, but where we actually, back to what you guys were saying a few minutes ago, where we actually have a couple bullet points for each county and what each county has to offer, because a lot of us are experts, but it's always hard to just start rolling things off the top of your head, when you're put on the spot about what's so great about, different counties, especially when someone doesn't really know the South Carolina area, the upstate area, when they're deciding between those counties. It could be something too where we easily just copy and paste the Google Doc and send it to them and say, here are different aspects about different counties, and this might help you decide where you want to be. And that's just an idea, because I know from my perspective, I'm not really familiar with the Greenville County area. I'm just familiar with downtown. I don't know much about the surrounding area. So it would be really helpful just for me to start learning about that area, get me to start researching some of the bullet points that maybe people contribute. And I'm sure that other people would find it helpful too for different counties that they're not particularly an expert in. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, Allie, and I'll be happy to do that. And I already have, I call it my Greenville hotspot document that I made for people that are coming to this area. And what it does is it tells them a little bit about each area. It gives them a physical address to be able to get to the center of that area. And it tells them a little bit about, what's in that area, whether it's a shopping hub or like, Travelers Rest and the Swamp Rabbit Trail and things like that. But definitely it needs a little more elaboration. It needs to grow a little bit. But I think that's a great idea. And that's something that we could each, when we encounter something or learn something, we could each just jump in there and add something to it, which would be extremely valuable.
Okay, I think so too. I just wanted to throw that out there, if just because I thought about that when you guys were talking about people coming from different states and just they're scared and they don't know. So
Right.
it could be a great tool for all of us to use.
So I have a friend of my nephew's. My nephew moved to Fort Mill from New York. A friend of my nephew's moved to Fort Mill. So I helped her find a house. Well, when my nephew said he was moving to Fort Mill, I drove up there for the very first time, had never been there, to help him. I didn't know anything about Fort Mill. So when I went up there that day, I thought to myself, why in the world would he move to this area? I mean, I didn't see any reason that anybody would move there other than it's 20 minutes to Charlotte. So then when I went back the second time, I saw a different area of Fort Mill, and I thought, okay, well, this is pretty cool. Well, then when that friend of his was moving there, I went up, I got a hotel room, I stayed for 3 days, and I Googled everything that I could Google about Fort Mill before I went. I went to New Home Search, that New Home Search website. I've read all about all the different communities. I made a list of the ones that would have fit her. I mapped them out. We made appointments. I drove, I went up there. I learned so much about that area by Googling and by getting out, just jumping in with 2 feet and just getting into the community. I absolutely love to go there now. It is such a cool place. And I know it amazes me how much I know by just Googling, driving around, going from community to community. One of our agents had a client here that was moving to Fort Mill. So I've been helping him, like I've been looking up houses and stuff in Fort Mill for his client, and he's been driving up there and showing houses. I actually think
he got it under contract.
Writing, huh?
He just got something under contract up there.
Got it under contract, okay. So, he kind of did the same thing. I told him a little bit about it, and then he went up there and just kind of jumped in. And so don't be afraid. Don't be afraid if you're not familiar with an area. The only way you're going to learn is by Googling and researching, hey, what's there? And then, just getting out there and doing it.
One thing I would say, to Allie's point that I did kind of like would be, if we could all, if you live in or live and work in a certain area, send it to us and let us kind of put some things together. But tell us, like, what's your favorite restaurants? What's your, what do you do kind of on the weekends? Where do you go? Just different things that we may not think of, because it is hard, even if you know an area and you kind of get put on the spot of, hey, what do you like to do, where do you like to go eat? It's it's like trying to figure out what you're going to go eat for dinner. Sometimes you just, we got this and this and this, you just can't really decide. But if we had kind of a list of almost like a resource guide for the upstate, to where if you wanted to go and send it to somebody, it could have bullet points, or it could have kind of like what you set up for the people moving down to Fort Mill. But we could share it, like you said, we could share it on Facebook, we share it on Google, we can put it in the files on the Facebook group. So I mean, that's definitely something that we could put together fairly easy. We would just need kind of some input from you guys as to what you would like to see in there. So I think it's a really good idea.
Jehan is saying my problem is that my client's is a lot lower than what?
than you can find anything now. Yeah, so we were on a call last week. I don't know if you guys were on the call, but we were on a call last week with Kendall Fox and their team over at Prime Lending. And it is definitely tougher to find homes right now. That does increase the demand up a lot more. I think right now though it's a really important time that if we can utilize that Facebook group that we have to let each other know what listings you guys have, what listings are coming on the market, share what buyers you have, and there's a lot of Facebook groups that are out there that they do that, and people jump on it and say, hey, I've got this listing, or I've got this buyer that may be interested. So, use our agents that we have to help you find what you need and go outside of just that MLS area. That's definitely something that you're gonna run into. Credit scores are changing. I guess the ability to get a loan is getting harder. So always got to kind of keep those things in mind.
I will tell you, a lot of these people moving from California and these people from New York, a lot of them are cash buyers. So you don't have to worry about the loan process, because they're selling, $800,000 houses there and coming here and paying $500,000 and paying cash, a lot of them. But I wanted to tell you, getting back to that for 1 second, because I just think this is just so cool what we've put together. There's a Facebook site called SC Tribe, South Carolina Tribe, and that Facebook site is a tribe of people moving from New York to South Carolina. So when this Facebook page first started, I met an agent that lives in New York that's a real estate agent, and I met an agent that lives in Summerville, South Carolina, that's a real estate agent down in Summerville. The three of us have paired up together. Every Thursday at 10 o'clock, we do a Facebook Live on SC Tribe. And Corinne talks about, the Summerville area, and Angela talks about the New York area, and then I talk about the South Carolina, specifically the Fort Mill area. This is what's really, really neat, is that when Corinne is on the Facebook page and she sees somebody and they're talking about, Greenville, or they're talking about Fort Mill, she makes a little plug for me and tags me so that I know to get in there and look. And then we do the same thing for each other. We send referrals back and forth to each other, but not monetary referrals. Like, I don't send Corinne a referral and expect to get money back, or the agent in New York, because what we did was we paired up as a team, and we've got each other's back, and we are just sending people back and forth. We're ping-ponging them back and forth between the three of us. So we chose, between the three of us, not to do it on a monetary basis. I can't tell you how well it has worked. Just a thought.
So that goes back to, and I've talked to a lot of you guys about this before, is it goes back to the Facebook groups versus just working off of your Facebook page. And I would say that right now that's really important. I mean, there are agents that are all over this country that are referring people day in and day out to the South Carolina area, and they have no clue who any of our agents are. So, reaching out and trying to find out, who these are. Creating Facebook groups is an easy way to do that, and creating really that opportunity for people to start building up. That SC Tribe I mean, they've got several thousand people in there now, and it's only been going for, you know, 1 or 2 months, a couple months, but you know, it's starting to really expand. And, you know, they've just taken the opportunity of having somebody in New York, having somebody here, and then having somebody in another part of the state. So, you know, try to find that, you know, try to find that group or create a group, and really get involved in marketing yourself on these groups. If not more, you know, just as much as you are on your personal page.
I would say more.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Kendra just said, you know, I found last week that construction loans have been suspended until further notice. With anything, you know, people, businesses, lenders, you know, that is, those are things that it is unknown right now. There may be, you know, there may be programs that are out there that are getting suspended. There may be, you know, different lenders are not doing certain things. This would be a time, though, that I will tell you that you're going to need to go to, you know, outside your norm of who you use on a daily basis. So if your lender that you used for quite a while, if their lending group does not allow you to do something, don't stop there. You know, go to a small bank, go to other places. If you you know, if you need, like Kendra, for example, if you need somebody that could possibly do a construction loan, we've got people that I know of that work at small banks that can do construction loans. There's a guy named Jeff Turner that is over at Blue Ridge Bank. They've got a location over in Easley. I know for a fact he's doing construction loans, and it's different because they're not under the, you know, he's not doing them under FHA and the Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, those guidelines. They can do in-house stuff. So, you know, just thinking outside the box in everything you do right now is going to be really important. We touched base on, so the SC Tribe and SC Tribe Realtors is the Facebook group that Pat was talking about. There's tons of other ones. That's just one in particular. And then Jehan said, can we share with the office coming soon, so maybe it'll help each other if it's illegal? Pat, you want to kind of touch on that one?
Well, one of the things that we need to get in the habit of utilizing is our Impact Facebook page, because that is in our office. That's between us here in this group, right, Dustin?
Yeah, so it is a private group. So yep. So we have a Facebook, now we have a Facebook page and we have a Facebook group. So the Facebook page itself is a public page, but the Facebook group is what we use internally for our agents. So yeah, I believe, you know, from my understanding, that group we can do it. The public doesn't see it.
So that would be a great way for us to share coming soons. That would be a great way to say, hey, I have a client that can only get a loan for X amount of dollars. These are the areas they're looking at. If you come across anything, you know, let me know. Or I saw this Facebook page and there's tons of people moving here from Washington, and you know, so many things that we can share on that page, but we just have to utilize that.
Yeah. Anybody have anything else?
I do. This is Kayla.
Hey, Kayla. How are you?
Hi, Kayla.
I'm great. So thanks for, first and foremost, for offering up the information about the different Facebook groups. I feel like there's a whole pool of people that I'm not utilizing, having an enormous amount of family in New York, in Boston, in a lot of the different states up north. So I'm going to put together something for myself to kind of, and then I have a friend from high school that's an agent in Boston. So maybe we could definitely look into doing a partnership. So thank you for that. But my question is, I get a lot of unusual scenarios that I get put in. And the most recent was with a buyer who's under contract to close next week, praise the Lord, was asking me to assist with closing, like reduce my commission to help with closing. And I just wanted to get some feedback on your thoughts on that. Keeping in mind, this is like a close family friend.
Okay. So that is something that's going to be an individual or personal decision to you, whether you want to do that. You got to look at a lot of things. Is it, are you getting $1,000 commission and they want you to give them half of it, or are you getting a $10,000 commission and they're asking for $1,000? That's one thing. The other thing is, if you help this person, how many thousands of dollars can this person help you back with, maybe in referrals, or another house down the road, or there's a lot of things to consider. So I got to tell you, when somebody asks me to reduce my commission, the hair stands up on the back of my neck, because my first instinct is, do they work 40 hours at their job, and at the end of the week when they get their paycheck, what if their boss said, oh, you know what, I needed some more money in the company, so I'm going to give you 75%. Would they be happy with that? Have I ever said that to someone? Yeah, there has been times that I said, listen, this is the way it is. This is what I do for a living. And, where do you work? Work at GE? Well, if you worked a week and then didn't get paid for a week, how would you feel? It depends upon the scenario. There's sometimes that the pieces just all fit together, and I was happy to do that. So really, you have to look at the big picture, put it all together, and if it works for you, then I would say, okay, it's better than not having the deal or not having more business. Or you could say, I can do this much if you'll do something for me. If you will refer anybody that comes to you or you hear that wants to buy or sell, if you'll refer them to me, I'll be happy to help you out here. And then if I can help them out as well, down the road, I'd love to do that.
Okay, thank you.
So one thing on that, though, that you have to be very careful about is that is how that is handled, for making sure that it's not considered a kickback, as well as it has to be approved by the lender. So the lender is going to be the one that is going to have to give that approval to be able to do that, to make sure from a legal standpoint that you're not actually doing a kickback. Does that make sense? You know what a kickback is?
Yes, that makes sense. I said
Okay.
no. I just wanted to ask, like, if it ever happens again, because
it will.
He has been a complete nightmare, and this has been like ongoing for like 2 years, on and off. He wanted to buy, then he didn't want to buy, then he wanted to buy.
Right.
And I kind of weighed the pros and the cons, and I felt like, no, I don't want to do it. And I just wanted to know, for future reference, what to look at, maybe what factors that I should consider that I didn't consider this time. And I was able to get the information that I needed. So thank you.
Anything else?
should do this on a Friday instead of a Monday because
Everybody still asleep?
no, because all kinds of stuff happens during the week.
Oh yeah, yeah. All right. Well, we don't want to keep you guys too long. Just obviously, let's see. Any tips on how to reach pre-4? So question just popped up. Any tips on how to reach pre-foreclosure homes? Right now, it's hard to just or to gauge what's actually pre-foreclosure. There's going to be a lot that's going to be popping up on different websites as people are in pre-foreclosure when they actually may be in forbearance instead of pre-foreclosure. So there are some you can look on the county sites to see who has defaulted on their loan. And then there's also some pre-foreclosure companies that can pull those informations for you. But I guess one of the things that you've got to kind of consider is that a lot of people right now are pushing their loan out. They're pushing their mortgage payment out, what they're calling forbearance. And on some of the sites that don't know any better, it's going to pop up as being pre-foreclosure when it may not really be pre-foreclosure.
Including Zillow.
Including Zillow, yeah. So, the pre-foreclosures are kind of tough. I think more companies that offer it you have to buy the list and everything because there's a lot of background information that goes into that background research. So, hope that kind of answered your question there. But yeah, we just kind of wanted to give you guys a time to be able to kind of throw some things out if you had questions. And obviously, now it's kind of a different time, so we're not necessarily in the office having trainings and doing all that. So we're wanting to be more engaged with you guys out in the field. But know that we're here. If you have broker questions, if you got contract questions, that we're here for you guys. I would say over the next couple months, we're going to try to focus more on some listing stuff to try to get more listings, because that's definitely an important time right now with the way that market is. But let's start using the Facebook group more. You guys interact on it more. We both Pat and I are constantly on it, monitoring it as well. So if you guys have questions and you want to throw it out as a group, we might pipe in and kind of see if we can help, or if there's other agents that are on there, they can definitely pipe in. But also use it from a marketing standpoint. Market your listings, kind of put them on there, and then just feel free to reach out to us. We're hoping to get back to somewhat of a normalcy here soon. Hopefully it'll pick up for business purposes, and we'll kind of go from there. But Pat, you have anything else?
I don't think so.
All right. Well, I appreciate you guys coming on. Hope you guys have a very successful week, and we will talk to you guys soon.
Bye, guys.
Bye, thanks.
See ya. Bye.
Bye, thank you.